Currently, as of April 13th, 2023, 19 states and the District of Columbia have extreme risk protection orders, but several states are also considering this legislation during the 2023 legislative session. So Michigan, for example, is actually voting, I think, later today on their version of the extreme risk protection order. Minnesota has introduced similar legislation. And in fact, nearly every state has introduced some form of extreme risk protection order legislation to date.
In the aftermath of the Tennessee shooting, we recently saw Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee express openness to that.
Yes, we did. And I was really happy to see that because I think that this is an issue that shouldn't be as partisan as it is. We all should be advocating for and we all should be invested in keeping people safe from gun violence, particularly children. Guns are the leading cause of death for children. And of course, what prompted this announcement from Governor Lee was the horrific shooting at a school in Tennessee. And so I am hopeful that more Republicans will also come behind this legislation because gun violence, it should not be a partisan issue. It should be something, again, that we're all invested in preventing.
Can you tell us about the states that have already enacted these laws, the 19 states in DC? What have been the most promising results that you've seen?
What we've seen is that extreme risk protection orders have been used tens of thousands of times around the country. We see similar things when we look at domestic violence prevention. We know that guns are used in more than half of all domestic violence homicides in this country, again, because they are so lethal. So when we're looking at a situation where someone is at risk of intimate partner homicide, domestic violence homicide, having that firearm removed is a great way to reduce that harm. And there are not as many people, at least, claiming that the firearm relinquishment under the domestic violence protection order violates these rights. I'm not saying that there aren't people. We have seen court cases recently ruling on this exact issue. But when it comes to extreme risk protection orders, this is often the criticism that comes from that side. However, the protections are very similar in the ex parte or temporary phase, and the respondent to that order does get a chance to appear in court and state their case for why they should have access to firearms. This is not a temporary ban on access to firearms. This is a limited period of time. The temporary orders usually last up to 2 weeks, and the final orders, though they are called final, usually only last up to a year. So it is not as if an extreme risk protection order is going to be a lifetime ban on firearms for most people who are the respondents.